Hey everybody, we are back for episode 6 of our AA Aesthetics podcast. And in fact, before I start, obviously we've got our amazing Annie here, but before I do start, one thing I'd like to say is please, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below, or if you know how to get hold of us, do that, or you can email info@eclipse-beauty.com or info@precisionaesthetics.net. You can contact us loads and loads of ways. I'll put them in the show notes and in the video description. But please, any questions you've got, we would love to hear them, regardless of how in-depth or detailed or even non-relevant you may think they are. Please drop them down below, because I don't know if you know this, but in the last 2 videos we've done, they've got about 2,000 views.
Yeah, I saw it the other day.
And
good.
Equally as much on the podcasts.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we're getting loads of views, but it'd be really good to get some engagement in terms of like comments and questions, because we'd love to answer like any questions that you may have.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, like, subscribe.
Yeah, like,
what's the other thing? Comment,
yeah.
like, subscribe. So today we're going to chat about basically not social media, but how to grow your business.
Yes.
But from the perspective mostly of someone who's just getting started.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that has changed from when me and you started to now is the importance of content.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that back in the day, like we're really old. But back in the day, I think it was a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I would say it was mainly word of mouth, and I'm not diminishing the importance of that, because that is held so highly in regards to getting clients.
Yeah, that's still number one in my eyes.
Yeah, I would say it is for me as well. And I also think that's the biggest compliment I can get. I love that.
Yeah.
When someone says, oh, you were recommended to me.
Plus, I think as well, those people you get through word of mouth is, well, in fact, it's not my number one in terms of the business that I get. That's probably not true, but it's number one in terms of my importance, because like you said, it's hugely complimentary that someone recommends you. That's really nice. But secondary to that, I think those clients as well, they tend to be more like keepers, long lasting.
Yeah.
The people that are going to come to you for many years to come, rather than people that kind of picking out people on social media. They're quite often looking for this, they've seen this one image that looks good, so they're going to go to that person, then they're going to see another image and they're going to go to that person. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think the loyalty comes really from word of mouth.
Yeah, 100%. And it is so complimentary, it's so flattering when people do go out of their way to say, oh my God, I've got this person and they're amazing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No one said that about you. I was talking about the way they talk about me. But it is a really lovely thing for people to do that. And I think obviously if your friend comes to you and says, oh, I've just had my hair done by this unreal person, she's amazing, she was so good, she was so professional, she did such a great job, you're going to be, oh, what's her number?
Of course you are, 100%. And I actually, you're going to really laugh at this, I cried the other day.
Again,
because one of my clients came in, and she, as we mentioned before when we came back, I took a year off. And when I came back, she messaged me. She was like, I'm so happy you're back. Got so much to catch up on. Can I come in for my usual? So she came in, and we were just chatting away like you do, did the treatments. And then at the end, she like hovered by the door for a little bit, and she turned around and she said, I've really missed you.
Oh.
She said, more than just how great you made me feel.
Oh.
She said, you're just a really nice person to be around. And she said, I'm going to tell everyone else.
And you were definitely awake.
Yeah. And I didn't pay her, I promise.
Oh, wow.
And that really, I got a bit like emotional.
Yeah, no, I can understand that, yeah.
And it really meant the world to me, because within that year that I had off, she didn't go to anyone else.
Oh.
And it's not that I'm saying when you come to me.
She must have looked awful.
A few moments later.
But maybe we just leave it in. Hi, we're back.
I went back, sorry, yeah. Sorry, just had a laughing fit.
Yeah, that lady, so she came, so she was very happy that you were back.
Yeah, happy I was back, and I think that because she didn't go to anyone else, and her reason for that was that we built up a relationship where when she first came in, she was so terrified of having any treatments done that I made her feel comfortable. And I think that when you're setting up your business, I don't know if you're going to disagree with me on this, but I think that with some of the students and the conversations we've had with them, that when they're doing something that might make them a little bit nervous at the start, we've heard them say this. I did have treatment and I rushed her out of the door because I was worried.
Yeah.
And I think that when you spend that little bit of time with them, and when I was quieter when I first began, I'd send them a couple of texts throughout the week. How's your Botox doing?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was keeping up to date with them when I had the time and the ability to do that. And I think that did build up quite a nice rapport with me and my clients.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, actually, it's funny you say that. I'm going to think of something in my mind whilst we're talking, but drawing this right back to the beginning about how to grow your business, someone did say to me the other day, I can't remember if they were specifically talking about you or if they were telling me in general, but someone did say to me the other day they went to an injector. I think it was you actually, and they texted them a couple of times and said, "Oh, how's it going? You know, how are you getting on?" And like, I think actually Holly does that for me as well, and I think that's actually a really nice thing to do. I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah, I like doing that with people because I think, especially if it's their first time, let's say it's Botox, and they've got those 12 days from first appointment to review, where they're kind of going through the motions, and I think it's nice to keep in touch with them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But in order to do that, you have to have lost your anxiety about what you've just done.
Exactly.
Because we know that when people first start, there's that period, including for us, that, when we started, that you're thinking, did I do it right? Was it okay? Etc. etc. And that's why it is that extremely important to get rid of that feeling and just march on anyway.
Yes.
And that obviously comes down to your training and your support and making sure you're in a good place with all of that. But that's actually a really good idea that is unspoken about, because I actually think that would go a long way in a lot of people's eyes, because I know for a fact they would never have had that before.
Yeah.
So things like that are actually really quite a nice thing to do, following up with your clients. So yeah, that's a good thing. But if we go like right back to the very, very, very beginning, you've just done your aesthetics courses, if you like, your fillers, your Botox, whatever it might be. When you finish, we used to say, didn't we, to our students, what the best thing for them to do would be in order to start their business. So run through like some of those things that we used to say to them about, buying some filler, doing some people for free, all those kinds of things that could just get them that portfolio off and running.
We used to say to them, within a week, do somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
Because that is, first of all, just so that your knowledge is still at the forefront of your mind. And we also think as well that it keeps your confidence levels up, because it's that procrastination that comes from anxiety of I'm nervous. And if you don't bite the bullet and do it, your anxiety is only going to get worse. Another thing that Adam used to say, and I think this is so important, is, and I remember being with you when you used to do this, he would see somebody with a beautiful shape lip. You would say to somebody, "Hi, I'm not just a random serial killer from the street.
Yeah.
Please, can I inject your face?" And you would show them like your credentials, you'd show them who you were and your page.
Or you could just give them a card. If you carry cards with you, you could just give them a card. Because at the end of the day, we all know that the better lips someone walks in with, if we're specifically talking about lips, they're going to come out better than someone who has not the greatest lips.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are, you can make an incredible set of lips look outstanding, but you potentially can only make a good set of lips look great.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very difficult to take someone from here to all the way up here. If someone's already here, it's quite easy to get them here.
100%.
So if you can find those people when you're first starting that are gonna look great in photos, I know this is a really superficial thing to say, but you're going to get more work from those beautiful lips.
Of course you are. And I think another thing that would really help when you're starting in this business is offering your treatments free of charge to people who are
or even at cost.
Yeah, or even at cost, for people who are in similar industries. So
That's
hairdressers,
yeah, that's a really good idea.
nail technicians, other beauty therapists. Because if you think about your day, if you are an injector or you're in this industry, the amount of people that you sit down, meet, talk to go to somebody and offer them a treatment to go ahead with the treatment, and then they can talk to their clients about it. I think that's really great for, first of all, just getting your name out there.
Yeah.
Second of all, for the conversations that you'll be brought up in. And if somebody, like you said, is beautiful and you're enhancing their beauty because they're already half the battle, it's a good walking, talking advertisement for you.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of like a sneaky way of like almost networking, because you're giving it to someone who's constantly talking to other people and who they're going to ask questions to as well. So yeah, that's a great idea. But I think as well, when you like very first get started, or even if, for example, you're on maybe like a flat point of your career and you're feeling like you're not getting enough clients, or you're not busy enough, or your page doesn't look as good as you want it to, that investment in yourself is always worthwhile. So if, for example, if you could go out and buy X number of boxes of fillers, whether it be for lips or for anywhere else on the face, and then either pick out these people or even pick out the kind of people that you think is appropriate to your customer base. Because we have a lot of students and all of their clients are maybe mid-50s.
Yes.
Older, you know, or even older than that, or a very specific niche market if you live in like a specific area. So it may not always be, you know, like this beautiful girl with these beautiful lips, like yours, for example. It may actually be someone who's, you know, mid-50s. They just want this ultra natural look. You know, it could be. It's not always going to be that outstanding sort of set of lips. So you can do, you know, buy these boxes of filler and then approach these people, or do friends and family, if not, people on Facebook, whatever it might be. And of each one, get literally, you know, 10, 20 photos and videos, and then manipulate those in different ways with layouts and filters and all these different kinds of things. And from literally 5, 6, 7 boxes of filler, you might be able to get 40, 50 pictures on your grid over the coming months.
100%.
And people don't look at your photos like you think they do and go, oh, she's posted that one twice.
Yeah, they don't care at all.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
They're just looking at what's coming up. So, and if you actually do it in a really sort of creative way, you can make them look so individual that they're not looking like each other anyway.
100%. And
Yeah.
I think getting your personality out there as well is massive. So I'm going to use myself as an example. I kind of put my business TikTok to the back burner, but the amount of clients that I get and I chat to them, and I'm a little bit sneaky, I do kind of ask them, like, where did you find me, or how did you hear about me?
You should, yeah.
And a lot of them say, oh, social media, or they'll say word of mouth, which is great. And when I talk to them about social media, majority of people use TikTok now as their number one go-to. And I remember when I started, I was like, what am I going to do on my business TikTok? Personal one, I'll talk all day. But business, I thought, what do I do? And I just did a couple of funny videos. And I posted like 6 in a day of just doing like talkovers, like some funny trending dance videos. And in that kind of space, I would even say 48 hours, I got 20,000 likes on my business TikTok, which means I then was being shown more on the algorithm because I had more people engaging in it.
Yeah.
And I think, off the top of my head, because this was only recently, I think the conversion rate from views, likes from my TikTok, I think I've had about 8 bookings from the TikTok. So
on messages from TikTok?
Yes.
Or do they say they saw you on TikTok and then they message you on something else?
So from the space of that 48 hours, I've had people reach me on my business Instagram. So they've gone from TikTok, gone to my business Instagram, and have then messaged me and said, seen you on TikTok.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say, no one seems to message on TikTok.
No, I don't get messages
We've had
like
lots
that.
of work through TikTok, but they always find like the Instagram or some other way of messaging us, or an email or something, and then they contact through that. I don't know if we've had hardly any that actually DM on TikTok. So
No.
I don't know, maybe you're not allowed or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I think as well with TikTok, if you send a message, I think you have to follow that page to actually send a message. And I think a lot of people might not follow us because we'll come up on their For You page, but they will then still watch us. But the conversion of that from doing a couple of funny videos is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, but you're absolutely incredible at that. In fact, tell them your page so they can look at what you do.
Injectables by Annie.
Yeah, Annie's particularly good at that. Like, I would never be capable of doing those, like, such good videos that are actually funny and actually good and actually cute. and I can understand that other people wouldn't either, but that is the way to market now. Like, that is the way that people do it. But at the same time, having, you know, TikTok and bulking out all of your posts with things like Annie was saying, you know, humorous posts, things that put across your personality, because even though it's a funny video, it still kind of shows maybe that you have a certain type of personality, you know, that you're approachable, and that you would, you know, you're like empathy, you've got good empathy. You can easily tell like whether someone's sort of kind or cute. You know, you can get these things from a little 10-second clip. So it's putting across a lot more than you might imagine in them videos. But in addition to that, it's really, really important that you don't just focus on the main social media networks. So I know a lot of people that, for example, only do Instagram or only do TikTok and Instagram, but you're missing out on such a huge avenue of work, because for sure, I don't know off the top of my head, but if we was to ask Holly, who's my PA who does all my messages, she will tell you we at least 25% of our bookings come through our website.
Yeah.
And that is really, really, really important. It also gives you this presentation of yourself that adds a level of professionalism,
100%.
I think. You know, I think if you've gone to the trouble of creating a website and you're keeping it maintained and the rest of those things, I think it adds a level of authenticity to your brand. So I think website is ultra important.
Yes.
And with websites, people are so put off because people still have this impression that you're having to find some guy or girl to write all this geeky code and blah, blah, blah. But you don't have to do that. You know, you can go to Squarespace or Wix or loads of these different platforms, and it's all drag and drop. It's all super easy. We used to call it WYSIWYG, which means what you see is what you get. So what you're seeing on the page is what you get. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. So as you drag and move things around, it's very, very simple. You can create contact forms, and you just drag a contact form, put your email address that you want it to go to, and it's done.
Yeah.
It's super, super, super simple. And one thing I will say about websites though is they do need to be maintained. So, and it's easy to do that now, because with ChatGPT, all you have to do is feed ChatGPT some information, and it will write you a 1,000-word blog, or it will write information about you. It will do whatever you want it to do. So you don't have to sit there every week writing these big long essays. You can get ChatGPT to create quite unique ones for you based around something that's unique to you. So keep your website updated. Don't just put it up there and forget about it. Keep updating it, but definitely have a website. And then on top of that, you've got YouTube. Yeah. You know, YouTube is the second biggest searchable platform in the world behind Google. So
that, I didn't know that.
Yeah, YouTube is so there's the second amount of searches that happen online happen on YouTube.
Wow.
So above TikTok, above Instagram, above all of these other platforms. So if you're creating these little short form videos on TikTok or Instagram, or even outside of that, maybe separate ones, or even longer form ones, then for sure, just create a YouTube account and share it there too.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. There's shorts on YouTube that you can do that is basically TikTok. There's also longer form videos that you can do. But people forget that when you search on Google, it's hard to get a high ranking on Google, but actually the first thing that comes up now behind ChatGPT, behind like the AI stuff, is a YouTube video or a video of some description. So it's worth putting all of your videos on that platform. It's free and has no disadvantage.
Yeah, of course.
Only advantages. So it's definitely well worth doing that on YouTube as well. Then you have Twitter, X as it's called now. There's no reason that you shouldn't automatically have all of your posts auto-share to that. That has its own benefits as well. And then there's even more social platforms than that. There's things like Reddit. There are other platforms as well. And then let's not forget some of the other ones that you can utilise. For example, Facebook is long forgotten, but actually it still has billions of people on it.
Of course it does. And I think depending on your market as well, if like you mentioned earlier, your marketplace would be 50-year-olds that are looking for something more natural, 50 plus would be seen a lot more on Facebook than they would be TikTok.
Yeah.
And understanding that. And another thing that Adam said, you don't just have to be on the social media side. With a website, yes, fantastic, but also there's things that you'll be using already which you don't realise that you can actually advertise your business on. Faces Consent, when you get all of their details, you can actually send them promotional text messages, promotional emails, because you already have their details. You can do that, and that is without you really putting any effort in whatsoever. You just write a text on Faces Consent and they will automatically send that to your clients. And the more you build up, the more clients, potentially they've come to you once or twice, but you've sent them a text message and they're like, oh, actually, do you know what? My Botox is due.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, with social media, you're always reliant on the algorithm, which basically means that it's only going to show it to who it wants to show it to. So if you actually want to get a message to all of your people, on, for example, Squarespace or Wix or any of these places, you can create a mailing list like very easily. And then you can just go on and create your own little mailing advert that you can send out. And you could do a weekly newsletter, or you can monthly newsletter. You can do, a monthly sale or whatever, only to your existing clients that are only the ones that have registered or signed up or given you their information. And that's a really good way of doing it, because you can pretty much guarantee they're going to get that email.
Yes.
It's not just, oh, who is Instagram going to show my post to? They're definitely going to get that email one way or another. And that's a really great way of getting your messaging across, getting your deals across, getting your updated price list across, your new products that you may be doing, your new treatments that you may be doing. So don't just overly, I think the key to this, without waffling on and on about all these different things, is don't put all your eggs in one or two baskets.
Yes.
Like, broaden yourself and make sure that you're doing as much as possible. And a lot of it, the cross-platform sharing, is quite simple. You can just tick a box in these various things and it will share everywhere. And then you come on to things like Yale.com, Gumtree, all these other websites like that, where you can do paid advertising that is worth a try as well, because you're going to get, again, a different type of client. People that are searching for things on Gumtree and Yale.com are either going to come organically through Google, or they're going directly to those websites, and they're going to be a different kind of a human that is on Instagram and TikTok and everything else, because a lot of people aren't still. And those clients might be your best ones. Obviously, as we go through life, we tend to usually have more of an economic platform as we get older. So therefore, those clients that are older are typically going to be in a better financial position to be able to have these treatments done, and
might have more need for it as well.
Maybe, potentially have more need for it, So don't discount those, because they could end up being your most valuable customers.
Yes.
And again, they're not always going to be the ones that are going to be looking for pictures of girls that look like you, for example. They might be looking for something slightly different. So don't always think that your picture has to be the most stunning girl in the world with the most stunning lips and cheekbones and everything else. That's not always what attracts your best customers.
Of course it's
so
not.
have a really good think about that as well. But really broaden your horizons when it comes to all of these different platforms. And even on Facebook, don't be afraid to put your work into certain groups.
100%.
Yeah.
And also, don't worry if when you're starting out, say for example you've got 2 clients a week, and for some people that might sound like a massive amount, for some people that might not sound like much, but for example today, before I came here, I did 2 clients, and I've got some clients this evening. From those 2 clients, I filmed my setup of me setting up for my body sculpting treatment. I filmed the body sculpting treatment, and then I filmed me clearing away my that treatment. I filmed me setting up for my facial, and I filmed the facial, and I took a before and after picture of the facial. I will get potentially maybe 3 or 4 reels out of that. I'll get potentially 2 main grid posts, and that is without a before and after, because I will do an informational post, on body sculpting with me just setting up. I think that it's massively changed now, where it's not, I said this earlier, but it's not just before and afters. People are interested in what you're using, seeing how you do the treatment. And I know on my business page that when I post a reel, it gets seen by a lot more people than it does when I just post a photo, because I've checked, and I get on my reels, I will get a lot of non-followers view that, and then hopefully a significant amount actually turn into followers.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I hope that was as inspirational for you as it was for me, but that is what you call like absolute efficiency. And that is the kind of attitude and dedication that's going to get you work and get you busy. And one thing I think to end this, or to sort of begin the end of this, is to remember, I always say to people, if you're not busier when you're not injecting than you are when you're injecting, you're probably not doing enough.
Yeah.
If you're doing a client stopping and then you're done, or you're not even doing anything before that either, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 7-8 years ago, you could do that and still be busy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but now you cannot do that and still be busy. So always have this attitude in the back of your mind, and that was incredible what Annie just said, that you have to be as efficient as you possibly can with every single thing that you do. Take content from everything. Don't have this attitude of like, oh, it's not interesting, it's boring, no one will want to look at that. Just try your luck.
Of course.
Because I think most people will tell you, who have got any experience in social media whatsoever, that the things that do well are never the things they think are going to do well.
Yeah.
So don't, just because you think, oh, this is boring, this is no good, oh, this is embarrassing, whatever it might be, just get it all out there.
Oh, 1,000%. And going to before and after pictures, some of my before and after pictures aren't my best work.
No.
And that's what I think people don't realise, is they're waiting for that set of lips to go, "Mwah, chef's kiss, I'm posting this." That lady might not want to be on social media.
Yeah.
That is not potentially how it's going to look in 2 weeks when it's all settled and beautiful and some of your best Botox work. Those people don't want to come back for a review because they don't need it. So you can't get the content out of that. And I know for me, and I think you engraved this into me, one of the many things, is that don't try to change what you've got there on the screen. So if I've got a set of lips and I've taken that photo, don't edit out any blemishes, don't clear up.
Just leave it. Yeah.
Just leave it to what it is. And I know now that, for example, I was looking to get my eyebrows done, and I'm going to obviously go to Just Jade Microblading because she is the best. But when I was looking at just brow work, I was seeing these pictures and they were so edited that I couldn't work out what that image actually looked like.
Yeah.
And it put me off.
Yeah, and the thing is now as well, when we first started doing this like many, many years ago, the look was actually, for the most part, unnatural.
Yes.
That's actually what a lot of people wanted. They wanted massive cheeks, they wanted their Cupid's bow gone, they wanted hugely migrated like lips, they wanted huge chins, sharp jawlines. That was the way it was because of whoever it was that wanted it that had their own that way.
Oh, yeah, like Kylie.
Yeah, Kim and all them people. Kim, like I know her.
Oh, Pal Kim! I was just about to say.
Yeah, like the Kardashians and all that. But now that is not the case. I don't remember the last time I had a client that said to me, I want natural, it must be natural, it has to be supernatural.
Yeah.
And so if you're putting pictures out that don't look natural, that look heavily edited, I think that's probably going to have a negative impact on your work.
100,000%. And
Especially if you are aiming for a slightly more mature audience, which if you want to make this as financially viable and beneficial as you can, they are the ones that have the money, because we all know people that are 18, 19 years old, generally speaking, have less money than people who are 30, 40 years old. So, if you want to charge good money for your work and have lots of clients, they're going to have not a problem paying that kind of money, then you have to think about the way you're going to target your audience and the kind of people that are going to be looking at it. But I think probably to wrap all of this up, because I know this has been a lot of information and we have massively veered off our original
haven't
thing.
we?
But I think my ending thing would be, just make sure that when you're not injecting, you're even more busy.
Yes, I think that's so important. And I would say, to wrap up what I've contributed to this, is do your best at everything you do. So whether that's the work, whether that's the content, whether that's a blog on your website, whether that's a X post, a YouTube post or anything, just try your best. And if that post doesn't do well, keep going.
Yeah, just keep
Post
going.
something
Yeah,
else.
don't worry about any kind of negativity either. But I hope that what Annie said specifically has given you some inspiration about how proactive you can be, because even me listening to what you've just said, I'm thinking, wow, that's so efficient, that's so proactive, so dynamic, and that is why you are seeing a growing business. That is literally the reason, obviously alongside good work. But unfortunately, in this industry now, and how diluted it is, good work alone is not going to get you busy. You've got to add in the kind of work ethic, the kind of dynamicism, and the kind of proactive like ideas that Annie's just spoken about to get busy. So take a lot of that on board. Go out, do the absolute best you can, work your hardest when you're not injecting, and you can be busy and you can have a successful business, because we've seen quite literally hundreds of people do it, that we've taught, that we know, various other things as well. So hopefully that gives you some inspo to grow your business. Thank you so much for that. That was actually really, really good. And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.